All right, everybody, welcome back. Sam's Army, episode 2.250. We got a lot to talk about this week. We're going to start out with headlines. We'll talk blue cards, Chinese butthurtedness, Duncan McGuire and USL Super League, weekly what if, U.S. men's national team in Asia and Africa, Premier League, Hammies got cooked, Power Rankings is back, and then City Chelsea preview, round the world with Ivory Coast and Qatar getting their deserved flowers, and Champions League is back this week. And then finally, stoppage time with Ivan Toney's best bets and everyone's favorite segment, GOAWs. Now, time to welcome in this week's panel of beauties. It's great to have both of these young gentlemen back on the program. It's been a little while. First up, we got Mr. Tyler Terrans, fresh off of an awesome, I say this secondhand, an awesome trip to England where you caught a handful of great games. Give us the highlights of your great England adventure.
Number one highlight was Liverpool-Chelsea and the battering that was of Poch's side. Low light was 3 days later, got our shit kicked in by Arsenal. The lower light is that the ticket guy that Tommy hooked me up with sat all of me and 5 of my friends separately, and we were all hammered, sitting by ourselves. Just do me a favor? Picture watching your favorite club away from their ground, hammered, not being able to celebrate or react in any sort of way, and watching them get their doors blown off in just a really hostile environment. It was honestly, it was awful. I'm never going to an away game for my team unless I'm sitting in the away end ever again. But lesson learned. And just abusing my liver for 7 days straight. Yeah, it was just good times all around.
It sounds like an awesome trip. Even the lowlights, that still sounds like a pretty fun evening. All right, next up, last but never least, Tommy McGuire is back. And since you were last on, you got a new employer, a new squad. So give us the lowdown. What are the vibes like at Loudoun United?
It's been good so far. Enjoying being back on the East Coast. It's a little bit of a younger team than I've been a part of in the past, so I feel slightly older.
Is that just you getting older though?
I don't know which one it is, but I think it's a bit of both. So yeah, I guess being old at 25 it kind of sucks. Kind of know how you guys feel.
I can't believe I was just thrown into that too. Good Lord.
It's funny to loop Tyler in.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
but I have a question as well. Tyler, how did the atmospheres at Emirates and Anfield compare? If you could remove your bias.
I will say, because Liverpool were never actually in the game, I had some time to think and reflect. It was a proper fucking atmosphere. Like
this being the Emirates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like really fucking good. So there was 6 of us who were there, and some were Arsenal fans, some were Liverpool fans, a couple were United. And we all agreed that like Liverpool probably had just a step up on the Emirates on the day, right? Probably over the course of a season, Anfield I think is probably a few steps above, but like comparatively to the games, like Emirates was right fucking there. It was electric. It was really, really good.
North London forever is good, but it falls short of You'll Never Walk Alone.
Yes.
I think that's also because I've been to both and had this exact conversation and said they're quite similar, but the history of Anfield is much deeper than Arsenal's and Emirates. It feels like Arsenal's atmosphere is top quality right now, but it's pretty recent and it's coming off.
But also just the makeup and the architecture of the Emirates comparatively to Anfield too, I think lends it to be more of an intimate environment at Anfield than in North London. I think that also plays into it, but I totally agree with you. But like, I went to the Emirates back in like 2012 when Lucas Podolski was leading the front line for Arsenal and they sucked. And I think Koscielny got sent off in the first like 13 minutes. James Milner scored from the penalty spot for City against Arsenal. So anyway, I'm just painting you a picture of how long ago this was. And the atmosphere like fell short, but that's because they sucked. But this was, and I wasn't expecting a ton. It was proper. It was really fucking good. Yeah.
Not so much library anymore, I guess. We'll have to think of something new to talk shit about Arsenal with. All right, let's move on. Let's hit headlines. So first up, the internet was ablaze last week when FIFA announced plans to test the use of blue cards. So these will be, at least in theory, they'll be shown for, I think it was cynical fouls and dissent. And anybody receiving a blue card will have to take a 10-minute timeout in the sin bin, a la this has been, a long time thing in rugby. So they're basically borrowing something from rugby. FIFA didn't do a very good job with the sort of communications of this. It sounded like everybody thought that they were like going to implement this right away in like the top level of like Premier League and everything. That's not the case. What they're going to do is they're going to test it as they normally do with these sorts of things. They're going to test it at a low level and sort of see what the vibes are like. But Tyler, we've had a few days to, I don't know, think about it, bitch about it. What comes to mind about blue cards?
A lot of different things, especially amidst all the stuff that's going on with like MLS referees right now. And like, I just know that protecting refs is at the top of the list of to-dos for most leagues in the world right now. And this obviously is an easy way to get rid of the mobbing of referees. Like, we just had a 6.5, all the broadcasters for Apple TV, we had a 6.5-hour seminar, and we were only able to talk to Pro for like half an hour of that. Otherwise, the seminar would have been 10 hours long. We're going to have a separate one with Pro. But like, one of the biggest things that they said is like that's what they're trying to get rid of. It's that and the restarts of game. Although a couple of years ago, it was restarts of game were at the top of the list, and it was inconsistent the way that they handled that. Anyway, this is all to say, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan. I think it's a little much. I think just giving out yellow cards is an easier way to do it. I mean, this is going to significantly, if it holds, impact results. And I understand that yellow cards can do that too, but at least a yellow card is what it is. It's a warning. A blue card is like, here's a significant advantage for the other team for 10 minutes, for a ninth of the game, if my math is correct on that.
Yeah, I've got mixed feelings on this as well. I like I don't mind me FIFA testing things out, especially if you're going to do it, at lower level and sort of away from the public eye. But before I give my thoughts, Tommy, what as a current professional, what are your thoughts on on blue cards?
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it, but I do like kind of the more proactive steps from FIFA to actually try stuff. I think that's always positive. But like from a player's perspective, I think if this were implemented in like the USL first, the like state of the game and like how you play completely changes for 10 minutes. Like you're gonna have to psychologically, you're gonna sit back for 10 minutes, and then can you ever get out of that? And I think as a fan, you don't want to come to a game, see like 3 blue cards, and then a team sit back for a third of the game, and it's just boring. I think it's gonna ruin kind of the entertainment level of a game. It's not like hockey where like, you want to see a power play because it's much easier.
It's exciting.
But that's also part of the game.
That's not what's going to happen with soccer if they go 11v10. It's still incredibly hard to score a goal against 10 men, and it's just going to be more boring than anything.
Yeah, so what you said right there kind of mirrors what Ange Postecoglou said when he was asked about it, and what he said sort of resonated with me. He's just like, you're drastically changing the game, and for 10 minutes you're slowing it down, and basically what you're doing is you're making it less exciting. Every other sport in the world right now is trying to find ways to increase scoring, make it more exciting. I'm not on the bandwagon with trying to increase scoring, but like making it more exciting, or at least keeping it the same level exciting, has to be kind of the baseline to make to implement a change that is going to make the game like less exciting. Like that's tough to get behind. I do like the concept of doing something about dissent, but we have the mechanisms to do that. Give them a yellow card. It's very easy. If you refs start giving out yellow cards as they have been told to do, and as FIFA said they were going to do several different times in recent years, if they just start doing it, players will respond. accordingly. Maybe it'll take a couple sort of early season red cards to get them there, but they will respond. So I do think we have the mechanisms already in place to deal with the problems that we're trying to fix here. So I like the idea of FIFA trying things. I don't think blue cards is gonna be a viable solution, and I think yellow cards and the way that refs hand them out, and specifically the way just do it like rugby. If somebody comes up to the referee just says, "Get the fuck out," and they send him to the sin bin. We don't need to do that, but just give him a card. Boom, no talking. Like if you're a captain, okay, you can talk to him civilly. But yeah, I think we already have the mechanisms. Okay, next up, we'll fly through a couple of these. So number 2, the fallout from Inter Miami's World Tour continued as China nixed a pair of friendlies that were slated to take place in China next month when Argentina was supposed to play Nigeria and Ivory Coast, the 2 finalists from AFCON, as it turned out. But China nixed those games, basically saying that, it's too soon. Messi just he snubbed Hong Kong. He didn't play in the preseason friendly against the Hong Kong All-Stars, which I think was bad enough, and everybody in Hong Kong was up in arms. Then a couple days later, he did play against Japan, against, I think it was Vissel Kobe or whoever the hell they were playing in another friendly. So, the sort of long-standing animosity between China and Japan, I think China took that as like an extra slight, and so they're responding with just a weird childish response and saying, well, now if these Hong Kong fans can't see you, then now these fans in Shanghai and wherever the hell the other friendly was can't see you either. I don't know, any thoughts on this one, Tyler?
I have not been watching any AFCON, so
it's ridiculous. Duncan McGuire. Okay, so this transfer saga was going on for probably weeks, I guess. So Blackburn wanted him. It sounded like they had come to a deal, Blackburn and Orlando City. He was flying over there. Apparently while he was on the flight, the deal fell apart one time, then they got it back together. And right at the end, they came to an agreement. They had all the, T's dotted and I's crossed, obviously in the opposite order there. And, they submitted the paperwork before the deadline, except they didn't actually submit the paperwork. Some dumbass in the back room pressed save instead of submit in the, most ultimate Excel, Microsoft Excel failure. Just so sad that this happens. So my question, Tommy, for you is, now this is the second time this has happened. Our guy Sammy Vines was screwed by some dork at Royal Antwerp, who accidentally left him off their Champions League roster, so he couldn't play Champions League with Royal Antwerp. Is this just, I don't know, unfathomable buffoonery, or is there an anti-American conspiracy going on with European pencil pushers?
I don't think it's any anti-American agenda at all. I just think it's this is what happens when you procrastinate or wait till the last minute.
That's not okay. Hold on a second. You really think it's procrastination, Tommy? There are last second deals that get done all the time. Blackburn probably.
Okay, why does it wait? Why does it wait till the last minute? Is because
Blackburn probably whiffed on their first 4 options, and then Duncan was the last one.
You want maximum leverage and everything. You wait, whatever happens. But this is probably getting done at 11:55. These guys are scrambling, whatever. I just combined those 2 words.
Scramming. No, I like that.
Scramming. I like that. I do. At the last minute, obviously there's a higher likelihood that there's going to be little errors like this. That's it.
Ridiculous.
I'm curious what happened.
I love it so much.
I'm curious what happened to this person.
Yeah.
What if it was the sporting director?
I think
it probably was.
Is that a fireable offense?
I guess it depends on if they don't score any goals from here on out.
How valuable is this person? Do people like him? Does he bring anything to the table?
Name and shame, Blackburn. Let's get it out there.
I want to know. Also, it just goes to show that there are just human beings who are running these clubs that we care so much about, and human beings are painfully flawed, except for me, Sam, and Tommy. But anyway, continue.
I appreciate you looping in, me in on that, even though I
all the old guys, the 25-year-old, the 30-year-old, and the 70-year-old.
Yeah.
Oh, all
You
right.
got a lot more gray in that beard, my friend.
Listen, 2 kids, it's gone from like 0 to 60 in like
but somehow your hairline has remained like in this sort of like, and I'm not one to talk about hairline because I've been taking shit to enhance mine for years now, but like yours has stayed at this point where like you look like a young dad with the backwards hat, even though you're not.
I think the hat helps.
It does help.
The hairline is a very much a genetic familial thing. Everybody in my family has the same one. It just sort of is a high hairline, but get a little bit of the power alleys. But it doesn't go too far past that. So I'm just gonna hang on to the hat and pretend like I'm a young dad, even though in my mind I am a young dad. But the gray hair does say otherwise there. And I'm telling you, the second kid is what really ramped it up. First kid was like one thing.
Congrats on the sex, dude.
Two times sex arrow over here, me and Matt Turner. All right, next up we got headline number 4, USL. The Women's Super League was granted D1 status by US Soccer. So that was the first talking point. The fact they got D1 status, which basically puts them on the level with NWSL, is an interesting decision. And then number 2, they announced the league is going to kick off in August. So August 2024. That means that the schedule is going to be fall to spring, like every European league or most European leagues. And unlike every US league, NWSL included, that all go spring to fall. So those are some interesting little tidbits. Anything stand out to you, Tyler?
Just the fact that they granted first division status as an already existing. I know that this is America and we like competition and everything, but goddamn, like just it's throwing down the gauntlet. I mean, it's interesting, and I know that NWSL has had its issues and everything like that, but fuck it. I think from US Soccer, it's a really good move because now you're just gonna see. And it's not apples to apples, right? Like, but you're going to see if the European calendar works. You're going to see if different types of owners are going to invest, and like, maybe NWSL ends up buying them out, or the federation learns something. But it's good. It's good for the game and for trying different things out. But this is just
yeah,
take off the gloves and let's get it going.
Yeah, jumping in the deep end. More leagues, more teams, just more opportunities for everybody, not just men, not just women, just more opportunities to play professional soccer is obviously a step in the right direction. The 8 teams they announced for this first season, they're mostly on the East Coast: Brooklyn, Washington, D.C., Lexington, Carolina, Fort Lauderdale, Tampa Bay. Then you got one in the kind of mid-south, Dallas, Fort Worth, and then one team all by itself over in Spokane.
Mid-south.
What is Dallas?
Called the Southwest.
Southwest. Okay. All right. Well, it's very much in the middle of the country.
Mid-South. I'm glad you came up with your own Little League World Series region.
I did. I'm just riffing here. And then the last team, Spokane, just out of by itself, out on the West Coast, the only team on that side of the country. I know that there's plans to add some more, I'm sure, in California, and of course this is just sort of the first step here. But it's very East Coast heavy, and we'll see. It's a step in the right direction. I'm excited to see how it works. And echo everything that Tyler said. All right, we'll move on to weekly what if. So, because the reason for this question will become obvious pretty quickly, but if the U.S. men's national team were to play in the Asian Cup or AFCON, Tommy, what would be the bar for like success versus failure?
Semifinal.
For both of them, saying it's kind of the same.
Yeah, and I would say that's I would say that's the same for like if they were to join Copa America as well. You'd want to say that, they're behind Brazil, Argentina, and I think on a day they beat Uruguay. I don't know, like I don't know which one they would struggle in more.
I was thinking Africa has a sort of a higher. I would think AFCON would be tougher. I think the level of competition is deeper there.
The elements too there. Like you're playing in the middle of their summer and it's
more it's a different level of CONCACAF. Like
yeah, it is. You could say that.
There's a fair amount of shithousery.
I think that there like is more there's just more opportunities to play in the Asian Cup, and I think that they would do better in that. But like it would just turn into a fucking street fight, and I'm not, and like I don't know how we would fare in that.
Yeah, the styles of like both continents, if you're just talking generally, they're quite different. So it's definitely an apples to oranges thing on how they would do success wise.
Yeah. Well, we'll get our own sort of test case coming up this summer with Copa America. So we will see how we fare in that. Now we'll move on. Premier League. So I'm going to try and streamline things a little bit here, but we will talk about some of the results. In fact, I'll give each one of you a chance to just sort of pick out one result that you found particularly interesting from the week. This is a week where we had City struggle, but they beat Everton. Tottenham, squeaked by Brighton, even though they looked like, in my mind anyway, the much better team. Arsenal put an absolute just shit kicking on West Ham. Just that game was incredible. I don't think anybody saw that come. I had a feeling like West Ham was going to come out and sort of give you guys trouble, and boy, was that not the case. Manchester United squeaked by Aston Villa at Fortress Villa, which Tyler calls shenanigans on, by the way, on a side channel.
Awful environment. Terrible night.
You were there for the Newcastle game, right? Were they also wasn't it Newcastle?
Newcastle away section looked like the most fun and like a group of 3,000 people have ever had in their entire life. It was electric over there.
You said Villa was not a good atmosphere?
Awful.
Wow, because
it felt like a
Arsenal Villa earlier this year, and then you had the City game right before.
I know.
My dad was there. He was like, "This place is ridiculous."
Yep. It felt like a morgue. I don't know if it was nervous energy because they knew that this was the game where they were sort of battling with somebody who like potentially is going to jockey with them for the fourth position or whatever it was. Nobody was making a sound near any of us, and the place just was like on edge the entire game. It was so bizarre. And a couple of my buddies, definitely not me, threw some shekels on Villa as well because they hadn't lost at home in forever, and so they just took Villa money line. And like it was just destitute.
I mean, that was really they went down 2-0, I think, in the first half, and then they gave up a third. So I mean, the game was over.
Yeah.
By 50 something a minute. Okay, but back to the matter at hand here. Tyler, you can go first. What was the one result that stood out from the weekend?
You guys were an interesting one. Let's see here. Newcastle getting by, not really interesting, but just sort of should have happened.
They easily could have lost that game, by the way.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. We should have lost against Burnley, honestly, or at least only picked up a point. They missed a couple of one-on-one chances and like really, really good opportunities. But in terms of like interesting,
it has to be the 6-0 when everything else is like 3-1, 2-1.
But is that interesting, or is that interesting, or just like expected / like fuck, like they really put David Moyes out of his misery, although he still has a job?
Unexpected. I didn't think that they were going to do that. I thought that's a game where
even after the first 30 minutes, I did not think they were going to do that.
I thought Arsenal was going to come out hot in this game, given what happened a few weeks ago.
Yes, but the first 30 minutes, like it was the same script. Arsenal had a lot of possession, couldn't really create any chances.
Yeah.
you're like, okay, this is going to go the exact way that the last 3 games against West Ham have gone, where it's like a nail biter and West Ham scores their couple chances. But fuck yeah, that like 10, 15-minute spell at the end of the first half, you're like, holy shit.
Yeah,
The
you guys.
Declan Rice goal was just, it was
The
too
two,
much.
the 2 goals in the second half were ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see how long Moyes still has a job. That was all I saw on Twitter was Moyes out, Moyes out, Moyes out from West Ham fans, which is a little surprising. It's not like they've been that bad, and he just won a trophy. It's crazy how, I mean, they're in 8th place right now. It's not like they're in 18th.
And their last win was Arsenal. And after that game, that was their best start to a season in the Premier League.
Right. And they're still in 8th. It's not like they're,
They were in like 4th, I think, and it was like best start ever. And now look, it's crazy.
People and their expectations and patience is at a bare minimum at the moment. All right, so you went Tommy, I think, was clearly most interested there by the 6-0 shit kicking. The one I'll point out was Luton. So Luton Town came into this game playing like pretty good soccer, and they won some games. They moved up in the table just a little bit. They're in 17th. They're technically out of the relegation zone right now. And then they have Sheffield United coming to their home field. And Sheffield United has been just easily the worst team in the league all season. And Sheffield comes in and just hands it to them 3-1. It was really interesting how that game played out. And the fact that Luton seems like they're a better team and more dangerous team against sort of the upper crust clubs. Like they play better against those teams where they can counterattack, and they only get a few chances, but they make them count. Whereas against this Sheffield United game, they had a lot of possession. They were crossing balls in left and right, and they just could do absolutely nothing. They just looked like clueless. So it's interesting, and the fact that they're now playing Manchester United this weekend, I think it'll be interesting. I think
that's psychologically though, that makes sense, right? Like, because there's no pressure when you're playing against the big clubs. You're not supposed to beat them, but it's like it's the Sheffields of the world who you arguably are in dogfights with, right? The teams that you need to beat in order to stay up, that are going to be in the wheelhouse.
Yeah, and there's other, mitigating factors. Sheffield United, obviously, and Burnley are teams that know Luton Town a little bit better than some of the other teams, obviously, since they played him several times in the championship last season. Yeah, I don't know if it's a pressure thing or they're just not comfortable with possession or what, but they look like shit against Sheffield United. And I think it'll be interesting to see how they look against Manchester United this weekend, given how they've looked so sort of, I don't know, relatively anyway, dangerous against the
are
top
you saying
teams.
are you saying you're gonna take the over? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I am actually teasing that. You know me too well at this point. All right, so we'll do power rankings. We haven't done this in a while. I'm going to keep it tight by saying, Tyler, you give us your power rankings, top 4, and we will critique it and move on. Who's your 1 through 4 if they played right now neutral field?
City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Spurs.
I don't think I have got any criticism of that.
If I didn't just see Liverpool get their poop kicked in by Arsenal, I probably would have flip-flopped them. I did, and I just would be I would be even more insufferable than I already am if I had put Liverpool in second.
I was wondering how you were going to go with that. I was wondering if you were going to put.
I saw it live and in person, albeit drunk, not able to celebrate, not able to talk to my friends because Tommy's fucking ticket hookup is a crook. But
it's not my guy.
He's a guy though. He's a guy.
Hey guy.
All right, so I guess we're all on the same page here. Man City, followed by Arsenal, followed by Liverpool, followed by Tottenham. Yeah, I'm on board with that. Aston Villa is obviously struggling. Manchester United, I can't put them up that high. Newcastle, same thing.
Actually, I'll be I'll be different here. I think over the course of a season, I have no qualms with that. I think in a one-off right now, you could make a very strong argument, especially on neutral field, that Arsenal would beat City.
Right now?
Yeah, over the course of a
No, City,
season.
no, 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 no.
I mean, listen, look at how City looked against Everton. That was not a very good performance.
But
I know
that
that's just
happens.
one game, but
Okay, but that happens with Arsenal, with Liverpool, with City against teams that they're supposed to beat.
Yeah, I'm not saying the last game. I just think City's much better
If
right now.
City got a crack at Liverpool or Arsenal tomorrow on a neutral field, City would win the game because they have not been able to flex the way that they want to flex this season. This is typical City, turn of the calendar year, post January 15th, just ramp it up and show everybody that you're fucking world class because nothing matters until the calendar year turns anyway. Nothing fucking matters except for getting out of your group in Champions League and just staying in the hunt.
fair. That's fair. All right, now bottom three. Are we just going to go with mostly with the table? Sheffield United in 20, Burnley at 19. I can't put Everton in the bottom three. I would have to put probably Forest, maybe.
I'm Forest too, not Luton or.
Oh, don't send Gio down. Come on.
I don't want and Turner. I don't want to send them down, but like they've just first of all, Turner's not playing at the moment, so I can root against Sells, wholeheartedly, and I will, and I do. But they're just not playing well. I mean, yes, they could. They actually could have. I mentioned it before. They could have beaten Newcastle this weekend.
I wish that you did Sam's Army back in like the late 90s when there was an American bias, so that like you might be right. But like there's no like big conspiracy theory against American soccer players right now. Like, did you ever think that maybe they're just not performing? Like nobody got to get us right now.
Well, so I think that where I come down on that is I'm sure that well, I'm not sure. I'm confident that there's not a bias against Americans among like coaches and the people who are decision making on who's playing, right? I mean, this is their ass on the line. So I don't think that this is like there's bias there. I think there's bias in the Twitter narrative and the fact that Turner made
get off of the Twitter machine.
Listen, I'm not on Twitter anywhere near as much as I used to be, but I still got to go on there just to sort of see what people are saying. And the hate that Turner was getting, not just from English Forest fans. I saw a lot of American Forest fans saying he's like, oh, he's shit. Like he made a couple mistakes that honestly, the one against Arsenal where he got beat, where he got megged, I've never seen that happen to Turner in however many years. So I assume he's in probably it's a confidence thing at this point, and it's got to be hard having so many people on at least in the Twitter world and social media sort of coming at you. But he also he wasn't that bad over the course of the season. So I just felt like the narrative was overblown, but that Turner was having this terrible season or whatever. But yeah, I agree that maybe the anti-American bias thing might be a little bit of a narrative. Anyway, so quickly on the weekend preview coming up. So there's some interesting games. The big one is going to be City hosting Chelsea on Saturday. There's some other interesting ones. Luton hosting United, Spurs hosting Wolves. Tommy, which game, if you're just going to pick one, which game looks most interesting to you?
Let me look at the schedule, but I'm pretty sure I would lean towards that City Chelsea one right now.
I think that's fair. I mean, Chelsea is obviously.
Yep, City's gonna come off Champions League too.
That's a good point. Champions League is back.
The game that I don't mind actually either is Tottenham Wolves.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're two teams that are just fun to watch.
Yeah, Mikey's always, or at least recently, been the one that's been pushing the Wolves being an entertaining team, and they are quietly. They sort of I feel like they got a rep for maybe a season or two where it was just like it was kind of dire watching them, but that's not them anymore. They move the ball and they got some players on that team. They're a lot of fun to watch. So I think Spurs Tottenham is right up there with the United Luton game and some of the other ones that will work their way into the overtrain later in Ivan Toney's best bets. Tyler, what game do you got?
I think the game that you were talking about, City hosting Chelsea. Um, Everton Palace is a good game.
That's on Monday.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
got my that. Yeah, I'll go with City hosting Chelsea.
Yeah, Chelsea. So the last 4 games that Chelsea has played, there's been 4 goals, 6 goals, and 5 goals scored. So
You get it. You like overs.
so I got my eye on that one. But listen, they've played entertaining soccer lately, and they've won 2 in a row as well. So
They were fucking poor against Liverpool. I'll tell you what.
they were very poor against
It was
Liverpool, and they
so
were
bad.
very poor against Wolves in the next game as well. But then they bounced back, and they beat Villa 3-1, and then just today they beat Palace 3-1. They were terrible in the first half. Like they had 80% possession and 1 shot, not even on goal, just 1 shot with 80% possession in the first half. I don't even know how that's possible. But then they came out and turned a page in the second half, scored 3 goals. So we can't quite give them as much shit as we do some weeks. All right, we'll move on. Round the world time. We got to give some flowers to a couple teams. Ivory Coast and Qatar. Ivory Coast, what a run. Just an incredible, miraculous, ridiculous tournament by Ivory Coast. We've talked about it for a couple weeks now, but like they were terrible and they were hosting this tournament, the AFCON this year. They just stunk it up in the group stage, so much so that they fired their coach. And then they went on in the knockouts to, I think it was a lot of late equalizers or late go-ahead goals. It was shootouts. I mean, it was obviously a very entertaining tournament. They went down 1-0 to Nigeria in the final, came back with 2 goals. What a run by Ivory Coast.
I mean, it makes sense though. Like new coach bump in the middle of a tournament. Like, how could that not work? It can't get any worse.
I think more teams should try it.
I agree.
With the 48 team World Cup, there's going to be some third place teams that shouldn't be in third place, sneak into knockout.
Like, should we have sacked Greg before the Netherlands game and then rehired him for double coach bump once we got to the quarters? I don't know.
Just for the Netherlands game.
Just for the Netherlands game, because we had seen too much of him. We just needed the coach bump to get past the round of 16. It's that monkey that's been in our back. Rehire him though. I'm not saying he did anything wrong to get fired up until that point. All I'm saying is think about it.
All right. And Qatar. So they are now back-to-back Asian Cup champs.
Rigged.
And they did win the final with 3 penalties, which is interesting. Just putting that out there. Interesting. But the real interesting thing was I kind of had them as a little bit of a dark horse, not to win the tournament, obviously, but in the World Cup. I thought they were going to come in and at least sort of do a little damage.
Because they got to the final of Gold Cup?
No, it just seemed like they were trending in the right direction. They were a bunch of guys that had been playing together for years, and they came in and they just stunk. They stunk in the World Cup.
If me, you, and Tommy played together for 4 years and went to a World Cup, would the reason why we would succeed is because we've been playing together for a lot of years? Like, come on.
Well, it's not just because they're playing together. I saw them in the Gold Cup, and yes, obviously the competition in the Gold Cup when they're playing like a
They were dog shit in the World Cup.
Gold Cup?
No, World Cup. I'm saying in the World Cup.
No. Gold Cup. They actually look like they
gold.
Could play.
No, I'm saying gold. No, but this is why I'm saying it's rigged. There's no way that team that we saw in the World Cup didn't get any help in the Asian games.
That's fair. I mean, they got some help. It sounds like Jurgen Klinsmann was persona non grata among all South Koreans at this point. And Australia somehow didn't get. I don't know who. I think they lost to. Was Australia lost to South Korea? Whatever. Anyway, I was rooting for South Korea, obviously, because Son Heung-min. But whatever. Qatar, well done. Congrats on your 3 penalties and your win. No, I'm not actually talking shit about that. Congrats on the win. Lastly, Champions League. Champions League is back with the knockouts. It feels like months ago, because it was months ago that we last saw Champions League. But the schedule is this week we've got on Tuesday Copenhagen hosting Man City, RB Leipzig hosting Real Madrid. On Wednesday, PSG hosting Real Sociedad, and Lazio hosting Bayern. Of those 4, Tommy, which one are you most excited about?
I think PSG Sociedad.
Mm.
I think
It's a fun
Sociedad, I think Sociedad can beat them in a two-leg tie, not just in one game. And the other three, I think the favorite takes.
Okay. Like that. Tyler, you agree?
Yeah. I like the Lazio game too.
Yeah, Lazio Bayern. Bayern's obviously struggling at the moment. So the other thing I nixed from around the world was we had these kind of big top of the table battles in Spain and Germany. And in one of them, Real Madrid came in and just, reminded everybody they're Real Madrid. Whereas in the other one, Bayern Munich did not come in and remind everybody that they're Bayern Munich. Leverkusen kept their win streak alive, won 3-0, not win streak, but undefeated streak to start the season alive with a 3-0 win against Bayern, which that's a game that Bayern wins every single season. When they need to get a win and they need to sort of remind everybody that, okay, we're Bayern, we're going to come back, we're going to do this thing. They got the shit pushed in. And Tommy the terrorist, he's got to be on thin ice a little bit there. All right, stoppage time. So we will start with Ivan Toney's best bets. The overtrain last week, we're not cooking with thermonuclear gas, unfortunately, but we got 3 wins and 2 losses. So we won Aston Villa, Chelsea, lost Oostend and Royal Antwerp, won Cienciano and Sporting Cristal. We dug deep for that one in the Peruvian league. Shout out to Peru. Spurs Brighton was a win. And then unfortunately, when I went digging in the Romanian league on Sunday, no such luck. FCS used to be, what was it? Bucharest, Steaua Bucharest, the club formerly known as Steaua Bucharest, won 1-0 over Sepsi. But we're going to go this week. I got my 5. I'm ready to go. I'm feeling good about these. We're going to start on Wednesday with America hosting Real Esteli. That's the Nicaraguan team, and that is in the Champions Cup, CONCACAF Champions Cup. And Esteli actually beat America in the first leg. So they're coming back to the Azteca. They're down 2-1. And America's going to be, up for that one and probably going to try and score a ton of goals. Thursday, we got Braga and Karabag in Europa. Both those teams score and get scored on. I love goals in that one. Friday, we're going Bundesliga 2. One of my favorite leagues to bet overs in. Hertha Berlin hosting Magdeburg. That one's a lock on Friday. Love it. Saturday, this one was a no-brainer. Wrexham and Notts County. So these are the 2 teams that got promoted from National League up into League 2. And they've both been playing quite well in League 2. I think they're both near, if not in the playoff hunt. And they both score a ton. And they also, especially Notts County, get scored on a ton. So Wrexham, Notts County on Saturday. And then I teased it earlier. Tyler called me out for it. Luton Town hosting Manchester United on Sunday. Luton is a team that they play better. They score goals against better teams. And, obviously United has their struggles, but United is still United. And I think that's a game that they're going to look a lot better than they looked against Sheffield United. So I like a lot of goals in Luton Town hosting United on Sunday. So there it is. 5-a-side overtrain. Let's go get rich together. Tyler, who do you got?
All right. I've got Madrid, Leipzig. So we got a little parlay going on here. We got Madrid to win, Vinicius to score anytime, and over 10.5 corners for a cheeky plus 475.
Ooh, there it is. There's the Totalitarian special right there.
Right.
I'm going to ride with you on that one. Okay, Tommy, you got one?
Yeah, I have PSG Sociedad tie, and then I have Mallorca to beat Sociedad on the weekend.
I like that. I like combining those. Okay, good stuff. Now we will head to everybody's favorite segment. Go is time. I have several sort of lined up, ready to go, but I don't want to take anybody else's. Tyler, you want to hit us with yours first?
Yeah, I saw something on Twitter, and I was a little bit late to it because it happened yesterday as we're recording this on a Monday. There was a friendly between Toronto and Columbus. And there was an agreement between the two teams to not share the score afterwards.
That's interesting. They
What?
did share highlights though, did they not?
No, it wasn't highlights. It was just like one-offs. Like, I
okay.
saw a Columbus goal. I think it was Jason Russell Rowe, the MLS Next Pro sensation from 2022, who scored one of them. And it was such a subdued celebration that it looked like they had put in 17 on the day. So but here's the thing. And the GOA goes to the league, the two teams for agreeing to it, everybody involved in this entire thing. Because if you're that concerned about the scoreline, release the starting 11. And if it's trialists who you don't want to be revealed, then just put trialists in the starting. And if there's 7 trialists on there, nobody's going to think anything of it. But what, you're not going to tell the score to people? Like, come on, man.
The crazy thing about it is if they had just told people the score, nobody would have cared.
No,
nobody would have cared. Nobody would have talked about it. Especially if they had a bunch of trialists.
No one gives a shit.
Nobody cares about preseason scores. But the fact you didn't tell people, then people are going to be like, well, now I want to know the score. Like, what actually happened here? Yeah, that's a ridiculous situation. I'm glad you called that out. Tommy, what do you got?
I think the obvious one is Ivory Coast, just everything that's gone on. So like Hilaire and Kessier for scoring the 2 goals in the final after obviously Hilaire having cancer and then scoring the game winner in the AFCON is, I think, within 18 months is an awesome story. And then my other more niche one is Thomas Muller for what seemed like, I wish I knew German, or there was like a very exact translation.
Yeah.
For what emotionally seemed like the most direct and honest interview post game that I've ever heard. And it was, I wish I could understand the whole thing.
He just, because the subtitles was very kind of
vanilla.
It didn't seem like that's exactly what he was saying.
It didn't match the energy he was giving.
No, it did not. And the energy he was giving was, I'm taking a soft, watery dump right on Thomas Tuchel's head right now. He was basically just calling out the tactics and saying that now this is maybe a reach, I don't know, but it seemed like the kind of sort of honest assessment that maybe some US players might have about Greg Berhalter ball, that just, it's too regimented, it's too planned, let them go out there and play. That's sort of the vibes I got from Muller. But yeah, he continues to be like,
he also blamed the players too.
No, and that's fair. Everybody. But it was very clear that he was unhappy with the tactics and sort of the philosophy that Bayern's being asked to play right now. Okay, that's a good one. Okay, I got a couple here. So number 1 honorable mention goes to Bella Silva, who is Thiago Silva's wife, who basically called for Pochettino to be fired on Twitter, which I'm sure must have been probably led to some interesting conversations in the locker room between Pochettino and Thiago. Then there's Alexander Seferin, the whatever he is, president of UEFA. So he has been pushing to change the rules of UEFA to allow someone to run for a 4th term as president of UEFA. And it sounded like basically he was pushing for this, and then England, the FA or whoever, the representative for the FA, was like, no, absolutely not. We're not going to do this. We're not going to sign off on this. And then Seferin came out and said, well, listen, I didn't actually intend to run again, so it's not really even like a big deal. It sounds like a complete backtrack and complete cover your ass type move by Seferin. And we'll see when his term ends, I think in 2026. I think it's probably right after the World Cup. We'll see if there's some change of sentiment there and he goes for a 4th term. Because obviously UEFA, FIFA, these organizations are hopeless when it comes to this type of shit. But my actual GOA for the week goes to Daryl DK. I mean, this guy's got the worst freaking luck in the world. So it just came out that I think it was officially, he tore his Achilles. I don't think it's his first Achilles injury. I know it's, his maybe third or fourth serious injury he's had since going pro. He just seems like the nicest dude. He had an incredibly classy post on social media, just sort of essentially thanking everybody for, the sentiments that fans, flooded his Instagram and Twitter with after the injury. Just a really classy post, but it just sucks. Like, this guy has just had the absolute worst luck in the world. He's going to be out for an extended absence again. And, it's got to be so hard mentally to deal with that type of thing. And I just wish him all the best. Hopefully a quick recovery, and we see him out there again soon. So there we go. All right, Tyler, Tommy, it's great to have you back. It always gives me warm and fuzzies to see you on Zoom like this. We'll have to do it again sometime. Everybody else, thank you so much, as always, for listening. We will be back next week, bigger, better, faster. See you guys then.